Greetings. Wow. That was a little bit longer than I thought, but I've just been watching some of the SciManDan thing with my daughter. I'm going to go over it again. It's worth going over. There's the stream. Okay. Greetings, people. Wow. Just this one thing. Let me just see if I can find the watch page. I had it a minute ago. It was there a minute ago. The on watch page. There you go. So I'm going to play. There's the stream. There it is. Right. Greetings, everybody in the chat. I'm going to play this over and over, like quite a few times. And let me see. Yes, I can close this one now. And then we're going to go over several scenarios of the same type. So, pay attention. Pay attention to what SciManDan says, to what's really being said and what SciManDan says. Listen.
Why do I need an umbrella right now so that my skin doesn't become red and cancerous? Well, Big Bear, it's because you're from the north. Why don't I have hair on my body? Why would I die outside in 30-degree weather without a structure around me? If my people came from Northern Europe, which they did for so long, how come I didn't evolve to not die in the snow?
We do protect ourselves from the cold. It's called clothing and central heating. We protect ourselves with technology. Why would we then evolve for extreme cold when we already have done this?
Okay, so let me make sure everything's yes. That's equivalent. I just had a couple down to saying now that we've developed the technology to survive, why don't we evolve so we don't need it? Or I opened the door to let the cat in, and SciManDan's like, why did you open the door if the cat's already in? Or I opened the blinds to let the light in, and SciManDan's like, why did you open the blinds to let the light in if the light's already in? Or I went to the shops to get some bread, and SciManDan's like, why did you go to the shop to buy some bread when there's already some bread? It's like, this bread is the most retarded, obtuse, illogical thing. I'm going to play it again. Owen Benjamin is saying, hey, if your thing is right, evolution, then how come these things? And SciManDan saying, well, why did you go to the shop to get some bread? We've already got some bread and some on the table. Like, it's on the table because I just went to the freaking shop to get it. Right, so I'm going to rewind. And we hear Owen Benjamin and then Mr. SciManDan. This is, he's not playing, guys. SciManDan is not playing at being stupid. He isn't. Like, really. He is. That's his level of grasping.
Our exposure to the sun.
Why do I need an umbrella right now so that my skin doesn't become red and cancerous? Well, Big Bear, it's because you're from the north. Why don't I have hair on my body? Why would I die outside in 30-degree weather without a structure around me? If my people came from Northern Europe, which they did for so long, how come I didn't evolve to not die in the snow?
We do protect ourselves from the cold. It's called clothing.
You don't get it. You don't get it. That's where you went wrong. He was saying, why do we have to protect ourselves from the sun? Why would we not have evolved so we didn't have to? That's the part you didn't get. You misunderstood, as if he was saying, why do we make technology? Listen, it's right at the start. He just didn't get it. And I'm going to go over Wolfie 6020 not getting something a bit more abstract than what Dan doesn't get. but still just making such a blundering, idiotic, geometric gaffe, and doing it in a riposte to me. And this is all about the feather hammer drop, which I will go into. So SciManDan doesn't get it, immediately gets it wrong, backwards. Later, Wolfie gets it studiously wrong, backward. So, but let's listen again to SciManDan.
We do protect ourselves from the cold.
Yes, that's what Owen Benjamin was saying. We protect ourselves with clothes, with shelter, with heating. His question was, why did we not evolve so we don't need to? If evolution is a real thing, why did we not evolve to the point where we didn't need the technology? I'm going to play it again. I mean, this is how incredibly obtuse this dude is. He's, again, guys, he's not a brilliant actor who's a genius and playing at being stupid. He is this stupid. The reason Martin Lees wanted to do an IQ test was to show people. It wasn't just to show that Martin Lees' IQ is better than SciManDan's. It was to show people how low SciManDan's IQ is. Watch.
Of our exposure to the sun.
Why do I need an umbrella right now so that my skin doesn't become red and cancerous? Well, Big Bear, it's because you're from the north. Why don't I have hair on my body? Why would I die outside in 30-degree weather without a structure around me? If my people came from Northern Europe, which they did for so long, how come I didn't evolve to not die in the snow?
We do.
See, that was a question. How come I did not evolve to not die on the snow, in the snow? So, to survive the cold, that's a question. Why did I not evolve to survive the cold? Dan's answer is, we did develop technology. We do protect ourselves. That's not the question. Listen.
Protect ourselves from the cold. It's called clothing and central heating. We protect ourselves with technology. Why would we then evolve for extreme cold when we already have done this?
This is, well, first, this is, technically this is a post hoc argument, which is a backward argument, an after the fact argument. After the fact that we developed technology, he's now saying, why would we then need to develop the technology? It's a circuitous post hoc. It's not even a straightforward post hoc. You know, I won the lottery and it was raining, therefore I won the lottery because it was raining. That's a post hoc argument and it's linear. This is a circular post hoc argument. I've never come across something like this before. It's that ridiculous. We do use technology to keep warm. Now that we use technology to keep warm, why would we, well, not need to use technology to keep warm? Why would we evolve to the point that we don't need the technology? This guy is so incredibly stupid. Now earlier I messed up with the timing, the linear timing, the billions of years and all of that. I was looking at it in a kind of datist sense rather than a linear way, and that's my bad. But dude, I'm gonna play it again. This is just gold.
Our exposure to the sun.
Why do I need an umbrella right now so that my skin doesn't become red and cancerous? Well, Big Bear, it's because you're from the north. Why don't I have hair on my body? Why would I die outside in 30-degree weather without a structure around me? If my people came from Northern Europe, which they did for so long, how come I didn't evolve to not die in the snow?
We do protect ourselves from the cold. It's called clothing and central.
His emphasis, we do protect our... The question wasn't, why don't we protect ourselves from the cold? Really, I mean, this looks like a bit of a sly look, like it might actually have something going on in there, but I don't think so.
Heating. We protect ourselves with technology. Why would we then evolve for extreme cold when we already have done this?
Why would you let the cat in when the cat is already in? It's like, the cat's already in, Because I let the cat in. That's why the cat is already in. Oh, but let's continue.
And then die in the sun. If sexual selection actually had an impact on us, like they say it did, if we can evolve to have the complexity of a human eyeball out of a big bang, even though that goes against entropy, why on earth have we evolved to not have skin that's resistant to the one constant in our life at all times, which is the sun and then the winter? It doesn't make any sense, right?
As I've said many times before, personal incredulity does not mean that something can't happen.
So what is the point of all this? Is this supposed to give you despair and fear? No, it's removing it. We were created. That glass that was broken was a glass because someone made it. So someone made us to have eyes to see, ears to hear, a mouth to taste, hands to touch, a woman to love, a child to hold, right?
Well, if that truly is the case, why would you create an optical device that is wired backwards? A problem which exists among all vertebrates, by the way. And why would this optical device be so susceptible to problems?
What is this optical device? I haven't heard of this optical device. I don't know if he's talking about the blind spot. It doesn't go into it. It's like, here's a diagram of a little star thing, which he says is wired backwards. Wired backwards. Listen.
Case, why would you create an optical device that is wired backwards? A problem which exists among all vertebrates, by the way. And why would this optical device be so susceptible to problems?
Isn't that a bit like saying, hey, if human bodies are susceptible to cancer, then why would human bodies be susceptible to cancer? It's just another one of those retarded misinterpretations of what's being said. But let's continue.
Be pretty bummed if I created that, personally. Owen spends the next 2 minutes basically preaching, so we'll move on to the end of the video.
The purpose of your life is to have gratitude and purpose and serve God, that which made you. That science didn't give you eyes.
No, it isn't. And he is still preaching, by the way. This is just his ideas of the world, and in his mind, that's all true, because that's his religious bent's idea of the religious purpose. He hasn't got a clue what the purpose is of anything, in terms of not anything spiritual. It's to give thanks and all of it. No, you haven't got a clue. Stop it. Stop thinking that Job is a real story.
Hello, science? Yeah, I'd like some...
By the way, this is what gave me the idea of calling SciManDan. Thanks, Dan.
Please. Let's go with blue. Yeah, can I have them 20?
He's ordering some eyes, and then let's jump ahead.
Go on then, that'll do.
Random over 1 billion years didn't give you ears.
Hi, is that random Hey, I'd like some ears, please.
Yeah, very good. It is actually a bit comical. And yeah, anyway, let's carry on.
Hello? Right, that wraps up today's video. I think we have safe...
Jolly good. 1 second. So that was SciManDan. What's in this? Ah, yes. That's enough of SciManDan. This is the GoFundMe, sorry, not GoFundMe, the PayPal for the funeral. Pretty good going. I'm very glad about that. I'm happy. I am happy about that. Okay, now I'm going to close this. Just leave that open. The link to this is in the description of this very video. Now let me figure out what I'm doing. Wait, first I'm in the chat. Having a good look. Wow, just Right, now we're going to go to some more. I mean, where is the intelligent argument? Where is the intelligent argument for the globe? I don't see it anywhere. Like, I really don't. Like, really, where is it? Let me move windows around. And right. Where is the intelligent argument for the globe? Who's an intelligent globeling that can argue for the globe? I'm not hearing any. I'm not seeing any. Okay, I can close this. If somebody misinterprets the question regarding evolution of why did we not evolve into we do keep ourselves warm, and that's one of the luminaries of the globe. Oh. Okay, so let me see, where am I? Here. Now we're going to watch another of these. I'm going to start calling them clown feet instead of clown shoe, because I like calling people clown shoe. You know, kind of comical visual image. No, this is a clown foot. This is a, where's Wally? We're going to play this critique of my video about the portion of my hangout about how the star trails don't quite make circles. We're going to listen to this guy waffle on and try to excuse why they don't make circles. Then he's going to show an image after he's determined that the reason is that well, none of these have the pole centered on the shot, on the screen, so that none of them are in the center of the lens. He then shows one that's centered on the lens, which is also lacking perfectly circular trails, and simply says, this one has perfectly circular trails. So we're going to look at that. The one he says is fine. He has some measurements. First he says, so, Antonio, what you didn't do was check other things. So, I checked other things, and yeah, it turns out, yeah, errors there too. I mean, this guy is just that incredibly stupid. Then he presents one and says, look, all totally fine with this one. It's like, actually, no, don't think so. I think you're very, very stupid, and we'll focus on that. But first, let's listen to him. And this is one of you can double a cube Wolfie, one of his best pals. This is one of the guys that helped organise the One More Orbit thing. That's right, because you need half-wits for organising things like that, don't you? You don't need bright people, no. Half-wits will do. So let's play this.
Well, have a listen to this.
Guys, this is it. It's completely finished for them. Completely finished.
Okay, so Antonio claimed...
Now, it is completely finished for them. Of course they're not going to say, oh, right, okay, fine, fair enough, yeah, we were wrong. Of course they're not going to do that. Instead they're going to present massive fisheye lens images like this. Which is pretty much what I said would happen. And he plays me saying that that's pretty much what would happen. Okay? They would just use excuses. Like, no, yes, we can track Santa. That kind of thing. So, let's listen to him.
It's completely finished, it's all over, but what he didn't do was actually look at the one thing that is causing the problem, and that's camera distortion.
Ooh.
Now, he did just skip right over it. Have a listen to this.
Because the argument will be, the software that compiles the photos must have messed up. But no. A camera, something. It's like, no.
So anyway, BM Furballs, Mr. Cavendish himself, who's going to show everybody that gravity is a thing very soon, he pointed out that, well, Perhaps there's a camera distortion going on here. So
he pointed out that perhaps. That's not pointing out. You don't point out that perhaps. Let's say he questioned, he pondered. You don't even point out that perhaps. But let's go back. So his friend points out that perhaps.
there's a camera distortion going on here. So of course what I did is what Antonio didn't do, and I went and found some star trails, ones that are looking at the North Pole.
Okay, let's see.
Let's have a look at those. Do they show the same thing? And look, here's one from a flatty. And yes, it does also show exactly the same sort of distortion.
So if Antonio had looked, he would have found the same kind of distortion. And then here's his own footage. So this was dressed as, however, the thing that's going to bring Antonio's objection down, or Antonio's highlighting, and no fanfare's highlighting of this deflating argument of the globe. He's saying, however, what Antonio didn't expect was that it happens in other images. Here's some images where it also happens. That's what he didn't check. What an imbecile. I have to play that again. It's comedy gold. Sometimes, I'm not joking guys, okay, really. Sometimes I really think these guys might be geniuses playing the roles of half-witted globelings just to give us flat earthers a good chuckle and to help us develop arguments. I really do. I sometimes really do.
Perhaps there's a camera distortion going on here. So of course what I did is what Antonio didn't do.
What I did, which of course Antonio didn't do, was check other pictures. Found the same thing. I found the same thing. But you know how I said the thing that Antonio didn't do? It would have been good if it's like, what I did was this thing that Antonio didn't do, and when I did that, I found, nope, it doesn't correlate with what Antonio was saying at all. Instead, he's saying, what Antonio didn't do, I went and did, and yeah, it correlates with what Antonio and no fanfare were saying.
I went and found some star trails, ones that are looking at the North Pole. Let's have a look at those. Do they show the same thing? And look, here's one from a flatty. And yes, it does also show exactly the same sort of distortion.
However, you might notice this is not on the periphery of the frame. Now, if it's barrel distortion, it would be well around the periphery of the frame, the outside areas. These kind of pretty centered. Hoopsie daisies. But let's continue.
I guess the thing is, look, I'll even show you one of my own, and it also shows the same sort of distortion. Now, what these all have...
And it also shows the same sort of distortion. I swear you couldn't write stuff this good.
...in common is that the center of the camera is not lined up with the center of rotation.
Oh.
So it's like a barrel distortion or something like that. I guess
I don't know, something. Sorry, what was it that I said? I'm going to go back and replay. That they would say...
Because the argument will be the software that compiles the photos must have messed up. Like, no. A camera, something. It's like, no.
So I did say that they would claim something, which is what he's saying. He's saying like barrel distortion, or I don't know, something. So let's listen.
Shows the same sort of distortion. Now, what these all have in common is that the center of the camera is not lined up with the center of rotation. So it's like a barrel distortion or something like that. I guess some camera aficionado will probably know exactly what's going on here. So then...
Or the trails aren't centered around a single point. So let's listen some more, and then we're going to study this image, which is his example.
You do find a camera star trail, and here's one from Movie Vertigo, and I believe he's in the UK.
And there are lots, by the way, guys. I did actually queue up a whole series of centered star trails, centered in the frame, but it was too many tabs. I thought, no, forget it. If people are interested, they can go and do it themselves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to print a whole bunch of them out, and I'm going to draw circles with a compass from one single point, just to show the distortions. Okay, so, but let's listen to a genius here, who then, the pièce de résistance, he then shows a central star trail from Antarctica centered in the frame, and that too has distortions. That's right, from a photographer, mega super duper friend of his, who's like been in Antarctica for like 14 consecutive winters apparently. That's a shame he's not in there in the summer to film a 24-hour sun, isn't it? Isn't that a shame? Anyway, let's listen to him.
And it is nicely lined up, and there is no distortion on this one.
Wait.
So there you go, Antonio.
Thank you. There you go, Antonio. We're going to look a bit more closely. Right, first, okay, I can't go too close, but if you find the video, movie Vertigo, Northern Star Trails, okay? Okay. You can do this yourself and zoom in as much as you possibly can. Now, if you do, you find, so here's Polaris. I don't think he's aware that Polaris, if you could do a 24-hour time-lapse, would make a small circle in the sky. That's what Polaris would do, a small circle in the sky. What he has done is, he has purchased these two yellow lines. I hope my cursor is showing. Let me see. I don't think my cursor... no, my cursor is not showing. Okay. Polaris describes a tiny circle in the sky. Those two yellow lines lined up to the top of that small crescent, which is part of Polaris' circle. They're not purchased from the center, but considering that he's not actually measuring from the center to the trails, that's just to point out is a bit cack-handed. We know that some of these guys can be a bit cack-handed. Now, if you come up here, right, so I'm now looking where you've got the 130 picks outside of the brackets or the angle, and the inside, so 130 picks. I'm looking at the bottom red line. If you zoom in on that bottom red line, and then you zoom in on the top red line, you'll see that the top red line is just a tad too short. Apart from not being quite parallel to the yellow line, which means if you make it parallel to the yellow line, it will be, well, because it's on an arc, it will still be too short. It falls slightly short. Now, I'm going to suggest that if somebody takes this image and does it from the very, now I'm looking at within the brackets of the area we're looking at, I'm looking at the trail on the left, the longer trail. If you were to measure from the very bottom of that trail to the other trail in question, and then from the other trail in question, from the very top of that trail to the opposite, you will find a bigger distortion. You can do this yourselves. In fact, some of you might be able to do it right now. However, if we go and look around and we go, oh, that's interesting, there seems to be distortions almost most places that you look. But never mind most places. Look, let's look at the three that are now centered on your screen. If you look at those three and you measure the distance from the central point, which would be the center of the circle that Polaris would make, you'll see that those two are out of line. Now, remember what he said, which was, if you do this, you'll find no distortion. Well, I'm going to play it again, just so you hear.
Okay, and it is nicely lined up, and there is no distortion on this.
There is no distortion? There's distortion where he's measured. Where he's measured, there's distortion. Even though the brackets tending towards correcting for that error. If you place the center of the brackets elsewhere, those angles will be slightly different and you'd have a bigger error. That's right, that's how geometry works. Wallace, Wally. So let's listen to the rest of it.
There you go, Antonio. So now I guess what we need to do is look at one at the South Pole, and who better to look directly up at the South Pole than my old mate Robert Schwartz, who I think must be his 14th or 15th winter over down at the South.
Oh, winter? Oh, don't you know anyone who's there in the summer who could do a time lapse? Hey, can't you ask the guy who's there like all these 14 winters? Can't you ask him to ask his counterpart, whoever it is that replaces him, or just leave a note perhaps with there must be a relay. It can't be like everybody vacates on a completely, like, there must be a handover stage. In the handover stage, can't you ask your pal there to ask somebody, hey, here, I brought a camera, I've set it up, it's all great, I've got an EQ mount, and please film the 24-hour sun, for those stupid flatties. How come that doesn't happen? Where's Willie?
Oh, well, here's one from him, and it's pointing straight up. See that little sign down in the bottom? That says South Pole, guys. So, Antonio.
It doesn't just say South Pole, it says Geographic South Pole. Ooh, that's fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic.
The globe Earth is well and truly safe. You've proved no.
Ah, right. You mean you can't accept that star trails aren't actually circular? Well, that's no surprise.
Yet again, and you've fallen flat on your flat face.
Not really. I didn't. It's just really messed up. And people are going to analyse this video. They're going to go to the original, which is this one, and they'll analyse this one. Only they will know that this little area here makes a small circle. That's right, small circle. It's the centre of that circle you have to measure from. When you measure from the centre of that circle, in fact, some of you will be able to do it right now if you want. When you measure from that circle, you'll find, oh dear, no, distortions. Distortions, almost all of them. Now, it would take one, single one, to be out of line to destroy the globe. Never mind almost all. Do you understand? If a single one was out of line consistently, which would mean it's not some satellite or something like that, okay, then that one out of line would debunk your model. Nearly all of them are out of line. Sorry. But we're going to look at your pal's star trail, right?
About this killing the globe Earth and knowing that it was actually just a camera problem and not
really
anything to do with reality. It was your observation that failed. Oh,
not really. Your observation here that failed. Here, see? You messed up. And anyone can check. Now let's go back here.
About this killing the globe Earth and knowing that it was actually just a camera problem and not anything to do with reality. It was your observation that failed.
It was nothing to do with reality. It was your observation that failed. In reality, cameras, they all have distortions, and all the people that do star trails, they're all like complete morons who don't realise cameras have distortions, and that's why the trails don't line up. Yeah, that's why. Or cameras are quite precise. People who spend money, and like professional photographers, like Luz Divina is a professional photographer. I know a professional photographer. Graham's a professional photographer. I can ask him to do a star trail of the north with his professional cameras. I can then ask him to do several and turn the camera, and what we should see is that the distortion should, well, rotate depending on how he has his camera, right? So, time-lapse camera straight, time-lapse camera portrait, time-lapse camera upside down. Do you understand? The distortion will be in the same area of the frame. If that was the case, that's what you should have done. Where's Wally? You should have checked first rather than hope and then distort. In fact, let's look at the comment. Hey, Globelin Clown Shoes, how about you take a good close look at 155? Oh no, did Where's Wally deceive you? I'm sure that's not what happened. I'm sure it was all just a mistake. Right? And then, oh, you absolute fraud. Let's take a good look at that centered Northern Trail measurement again, shall we? You half-witted clown. That's right. Anyway, let's carry on playing.
Oh yes, and a big shout out to No Fanfare for helping me sort this out, mate. You've done well. We worked out that it was just the camera distortion all along, and yes, your method for showing that up worked really well, but it wasn't reality that was the problem. Antonio got all the...
I'm sure. But let's carry on.
I did as we saw, but poor Antonio, he got it wrong yet again.
Oh.
So what I'll do now is I'll just mirror in...
Listen.
Yeah, Robert's beautiful video, and you can just all
This isn't
stare up.
centered. Notice how this isn't centered. Like, hey, hold on. I thought you said it was something to do with the pole being centered on the frame. This isn't centered. Anyway, let's have a look-see at these. Let's see if there are any that are deviating. Ooh, let's see. Oops, see some deviation here. Oh, you can't see. Okay, I'm just going to scroll around the screen because you can't see my cursor. Going to first look at the upper areas and then the central areas. Okay. And you can do this yourselves. Wow. There's one there that's really rakishly wrong. And this is from his friend, apparently. My cursor is at, if you were to do an 11 o'clock hour hand, halfway down that hour hand, you've got some very faint reddish there, just where those join. They're not supposed to join, silly, not unless they're actually going over each other, not join at angles to each other. But let's play some more of this. This is great. This guy really is very, very stupid.
Eyes at the straight up or straight down at the south celestial pole as it rotates beautifully in circles above us. Enjoy, folks. Particularly thinking how Antonio's feeling right about now. We'll probably go and find a feather and put a steel rod in it.
We'll probably put a steel rod in a feather. I'm going to destroy the NASA hammer feather drop in this hangout, guys. Absolutely. Oh no, Wally, what will you do then? You'll just say, nope. Just keep watching.
Showing nice clean circles. I only looked a complete dim-dim.
That's funny, he edited it. He edited it. Anyway, let's play a portion of this and then stop it before they start making actual... Right, now I'm going to zoom in. You guys can do this too. Oh dear. Is anybody else seeing distortions? I'm seeing distortions. I'm looking down at, well, 4 o'clock from the centre. An hour hand that goes towards 4 o'clock. You have a yellow cluster. The heck is going on there? That's peculiar. Maybe I can use my cursor to point. My window. Just good heavens. Well spotted, no fanfare. This is such a disaster for the globe. And the poor dim-dims didn't see it. Not hardly surprising, but my gosh. This is centered, let's remember. This is centered, the shot is centered. There's supposed to be no such thing as barrel distortion on this centered shot, right? Well, just guys, go to Where's Wally's video and zoom in and look at the distortions. Just look. So all you have to do, look. Now that you know that this happens, now you'll find it. It's like when you know a magic trick. You know, when you don't know a magic trick, it's like, oh my gosh, the person just kind of, they must have like, I don't know, teleported or something. And then when you know the magic trick, it's like, oh no, yeah, that's the twin sister or whatever, you know. That's what happens. When you know that this happens, you see it very clearly. Let's play to the end of it. The best thing about this specific type of trail that he's doing is that the lines don't become circles. In typical Star Trail videos, sufficiently long ones, the lines join other lines. So where this one star doing a circle and another star further over but at the same distance from the center-ish, and eventually the trail from the second one catches the trail from the first and it looks like circles. The way he's doing it, you can see the same trails for a long time. You can see the distortions for a long time. The more you look, the more distortions you'll find. Now, just to let you guys know, you see this you're going to see the Aurora Borealis. Sorry, this is the Aurora Australis. See how it's creeping in? Well, guess what, guys? This is a time lapse. It doesn't creep in on a time lapse. It jumps in on a time lapse. Watch. Oh, that's brilliant. It's almost like it's a post-editing. Good heavens, look at that. Well, well, well. Isn't that funny? It's almost like somebody has had a bit of artistic license. Anyway, there you go. Now I'm going to close that. Well, I'm going to go here. Now, before I go to the Apollo 15 feather hammer drop, and see, Apollo 15, hammer feather. This gentleman is, well, we'll watch it. It's already slowed down. The gentleman slowed it down. Oh, I see somebody without a wrench. Oh, very big feather. Wait a second. What's it? We can see the very big white feather. What's the thing on his other hand? Like his right hand? Oh, that's a feather too. It's very small, very thin feather. Watch. It's like it's so thin. It's transparent. My word. That must be incredibly light. Luckily, the guy that made this video already slowed it down. I'm pretty sure if you put this side by side with the Apollo, it would be the same rate. Because it's already slowed down. I haven't slowed it down, that's what I mean. So watch. He holds it for a long time and then very suddenly, towards the end, it drops. Well, they drop. Watch. Oh dear. Bottom of the hammer, level with the feather, just like mine, level with the feather. Here, let's, oops, daisies. Let's watch that last bit again. Watch. Watch the bottom of your screen. In fact, here. Oops. Oh dear. Same time. Now, Apollo 15 hammer feather drop. Let's see the best quality. It's a shame they're all such abysmal quality. Considering, well, let's let's see this one.
Jim, we copied both Solar Wind and Kenneth.
Whatever. Shut up with your propaganda. Right. Here he is. And they zoom out. Now I'm going to point something out that's going to make the Wolfies of the world and the Where's Wallies of the world and all of the other Globlinks of the world go, duh, I never saw that before. That's what's going to happen. You'll see. Oh, I'm going to play the volume now. So
A
cool.
better place to confirm his findings than on the moon. And so we thought we'd try it here for you. The feather happens to be appropriately a falcon feather
Oh,
for our falcon. And I'll
that's
drop
interesting. He held the feather up like after the speaking. It's almost like the timing was a bit off, but never mind that. Never mind that.
2 of them here, and hopefully they'll hit the
Guys, I'm about to absolutely kill this hammer feather drop.
ground at the same time. How about that?
How about that? First, you know how on the Non-Sequitur show I did a lot of misdirection into the falling down slowly so that they would bury themselves with the, less gravity. So that I can then say, well, then why up slowly? So, watch again. Oh,
How about that?
okay. Right. How about that? Again. First, this feather oscillates. This is not what's going to kill it. This feather, in this airless environment, should not oscillate. But it does. Keep watching.
Time. How about that? Proves that Mr. Galileo was correct in his findings.
Just bear with me a second. Right. I'm back. We're going to watch that again.
Galileo was correct in his findings.
Looks like Galileo was correct. How about that?
The ground at the same time. How about
Right. Now, here's the part where I completely kill this, okay? If you pay attention, you'll notice that the camera is ever so slightly tilted to its right. Watch, I'm going to increase this so that I can move it to the edge of the frame. Oh, I can't do it here, so I'll do it over here. Watch the feather. If the camera was aligned vertically, what would happen is the feather would fall straight down. Okay, so watch. Watch the feather. Oh,
how about that?
oh, it kind of. Watch again. Oops. Watch again. Watch as it veers to the left. Come on, stop playing funny this. Watch.
They'll hit the ground at the same time. How about that?
Oh, damn! Keep scrolling too high, too far up. Right. Right. A second. Watch again. Feather in the shot.
And I'll drop the 2 of them here, and hopefully they'll hit the ground at the same time.
Oh,
How about that?
it's almost out of the frame. It's like it moved over to the left as it fell. But that's not the killer. The killer is this. Watch. Let me minimize the screen. So, the feather doesn't really fall to the left. if you watch carefully, it looks like it falls to the left, but so does the hammer appear to fall ever so slightly to the left. That's because, like I said, the camera is rotated slightly to its right. From the view of the photographer, it's clockwise, just a couple of degrees. Watch how the hammer doesn't fall directly underneath, but slightly to the left. Watch.
They'll hit the ground at the same time. How about that?
How about that indeed? Now that's not the killer. The killer comes here, wait.
Hit the ground at the same time.
He's just let go. In fact, if I go back, there. Considering that the camera is rotated to the right ever so slightly, which means that if it was not rotated to the right, but was instead actually square or level or plumb, then he would be more vertical. The feather would fall down instead of slightly to the left. The hammer would fall down instead of slightly to the left. But this is the killer. When he lets go, and we've all seen they arrive at the ground at the same time, when he lets go, the hammer is rather a lot lower than the feather. Watch. Can you see? Remember, the whole thing is twisted. Sorry, correction. It's twisted slightly counterclockwise to the left. Here's the hammer. Here's the feather. Watch. Oops. Considering that the hammer is lower than the feather when he lets go, how is it the feather hits the ground at the same time as the hammer? Watch again.
Same time. How about that?
Sorry, Wolfie6020. You've been full of it and you were hoodwinked by something made to hoodwink stupid people. The kind of people who think that you can double a cube. That's right. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? Let's rewind. If you drop a plumb line, I tell you what, I will do it over here. There. The hammer is halfway across. Let's see how it drops.
The same time.
Oh,
How about?
can you see how it dropped to the left? That means that if the whole frame was corrected, the hammer would look lower still than the feather, because it was lower than the feather. Watch again. Simpletons. The Globelings are just such simpletons. Hello, that's level, I'm sure. Like, not really. So let's have a look again.
From here, and hopefully they'll hit the ground at the same time. How about that?
How about that, huh? How about that indeed? That's it, folks. I think I'm going to wrap up. I've got my children here. I want to go to sleep. And, oh, I see somebody without a wrench. Half human, half zombie. Hey, you're a bit silly. Los hispanohablantes esperamos al menos un vídeo, Antonio. Ok. Toma, te doy llave. So, that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap up. Hispanohablantes, preguntaros por qué no estoy en vuestro... Bueno, si sois suramericanos, preguntaros por qué no estoy ahí. Bueno, ya está. That's it, guys. I'm quitting. And please leave a comment, a thumb up if you've enjoyed. Go and watch the previous video and read the comments there. I think you might enjoy them. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you very much. Now, half man, half zombie. I'm going to let's see. hide user on channel because I think you're a bit of a time-wasting silly boob. I really do. So bye. Bye. You'll have to get another account. Sorry. So somebody highlighted. Move your ugly mug. Can't see the hammer. The feather. Oh, sorry. You can't see the feather. No, the hammer. Right. D.K. Let me see some more of your comments. I read a doozy. You already killed it. Now you're just beating the corpse, you maniac. Well, how about that? Yes. Right. Well, a second. Let me see a couple more comments from D.K. I want to see. 1 to 3. You can have a range 2. Oh no, you already have one. I want to see another comment from D.K. Just to establish something. Gleam, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I just have to try to find a comment that makes things clear about D.K. Is it because right, okay. Yes, so I think you were doing an impression. I wasn't sure if you were I wasn't sure, D.K. I wasn't sure if you were doing an impression of QMFI or not. Now I'm sure. Okay guys, thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you all soon. And now I'm going to end the stream. It looks like the stream ends strangely, like you end it, but it seems to end a little bit sooner. So I'm going to say bye and then end it in a couple of seconds. So there might be a bit of an awkward kind of stage. So okay, I'm going to hit stop streaming. Bye.